Okay, guys, so the verdict came out like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. They found Trump guilty on all counts in the sham trial, the witch hunt trial that's been going on in New York. And the good news is the entire world is seeing them as fraudulent on Twitter. Everyone, basically 95% of people, are calling this out as a complete and utter travesty of justice. In my opinion, the left just secured Trump's election with like 100% certainty. The left has realized their openly totalitarian goals. I'm not sure if this means they're going to try to put Trump in jail or prevent him from being elected in certain states. This is clearly a calculated attack on democracy, as we're seeing from the cesspool of communism and Marxism that is New York. But, I mean, Twitter's blowing up. Alex Jones is talking about this. Everyone's talking about this. But there are some things I want to show you here. Trump is probably going to come out and make remarks here very soon, and I want to watch those. I don't really care if this is censored because most of the people that will watch this in the future anyway when they're viewing the historical tapes, because they're going to talk about this for centuries. This is the type of display of totalitarianism in the greatest light the world has ever seen, being America, that it's going to be similar to Julius Caesar, or honestly, there may not be an accurate comparison because it's so unprecedented. A political party has never been as openly totalitarian as what we're seeing here, just openly authoritarian. Here's an interesting video, just one of the countless ones that are, going viral right now at this point. I'm a 40-year-old Democrat who walked away from the party because Alvin Bragg let my son's killer walk. So in New York, they are letting criminals and killers out of jail. Dr. Phil went on a ride-along with New York police recently where the chief of police informed him that only 2% of car thieves are being put in jail. And keep in mind, that's not 2% of car thieves, period. That's 2% of car thieves that are caught. 98% of them are let out without spending any time in jail. So New York is openly against the rule of law. They are openly pro the disintegration and downfall of civilization. This is all being funded by evil, ultra-left-wing billionaires who hate humanity. And if you look at George Soros' face, it's not hard to understand why that freak would hate humanity.
So what brings you to the rally here today? What do you support about Trump?
I'm a 40-year Democrat who has turned away and walked away from the Democratic Party because of the way I was treated after my son was killed. The way the party turned against me, and they would not support me in my efforts. And also Alvin Bragg, the way he let two of my son's killers, walk. He dropped gang assault and murder charges against two of my son's killers. So,
So there, yeah. But this is only the beginning. There's, countless remarks going on. As you can see, here's another video proving that the left is not interested in justice. A judge in Chicago found that this lady is not guilty for stealing a cop car and then running over the cop with the police car. Check out this video. So a leftist judge found that this criminal was not guilty for this action. Pay close attention. Finding that the criminal was not guilty of that. The left is not interested in justice, but they never have been. Trump has been releasing a bunch of campaign ads, basically just kind of gangster, if we're being honest. It's just compiling footage of the openly totalitarian and yet freakishly deformed losers that go after him, and then just putting it next to roaring crowds of, your everyday average American supporting him, loving him. And we are now in open warfare. I think this could be considered the beginning of the Civil War, if the Civil War is going to begin, because, we have leftists openly supporting totalitarian measures, kangaroo courts. The details of the case are absolutely ridiculous. Legal scholars are saying this is the weakest case against a person they have literally ever seen. And when you talk to a leftist about why they support this, they always admit that it comes down to them just not liking Trump. They don't know any of the details of this case. But they don't need to, because in Marxism, logic and reason, rationality, and coherence are all oppressive mechanisms. There are countless videos I could show you. But as we're waiting for Trump to come out and give his statement, I'm going to show you some Twitter. So, Patrick Bet-David. There's so much going on. Patrick Bet-David. More businesses will leave New York. I was thinking about this earlier today. Businesses are already not going to incorporate in New York. Why would they? This is just... It's a needless threat, especially high-profile businesses. The polls are already positively reacting to Donald Trump. Correct. Americans can see what's going on. This is Patrick Bet-David. We see the leftist operatives, just celebrating and freaking out, just expressing their open glee at totalitarianism, which is actually perfect for every American to be able to see. Because the more we can see that these people are deformed freaks, the better. Posting this. Oh, wait, is this the Trump video? Did it finally come out? Okay, here it is, guys, here it is. This is after weeks in a cold room sham trial where the judge preordained the outcome by telling the jurors that they don't have to understand why they find him guilty, they just have to find him guilty.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be...
But everyone knows. Everyone knows that. That's the thing. Everyone knows this was a sham.
November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA.
There it is. Yes.
And the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man.
There it is.
And it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration.
Yep. And what's very eerie and 1984 Orwellian about the situation is that the left is saying they are running to save democracy while they politically persecute their opposition, trying to lock him up and put him in jail and slander him with slanderous charges that lack any basis in reality and honestly are just an admission of the type of psyche they inhabit as a result of their adherence to left-wing ideology. Marxism despises coherence, it despises objective truth, and it demands the same of its constituents. So as the charges are not based in reality, as the verdict's not based in reality, as the process doesn't reflect reality or coherence, logic, truth, reason, rationality, or morality, it is an admission as to how they're operating, and the American people can see this. We're living through history. They're going to write about this, and people are going to study this in 1,000 years.
In order to wound or hurt...
The fate of America, and there will be a fate of America one day. We don't know when that day will be, but it will be tied to this moment one way or the other. That's for sure. We are witnessing history. They can watch this video, and they will know that not all Americans were tricked and destroyed into hating humanity by the radical left.
Opponent, a political opponent, and I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble, but this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will...
The judge ran on convicting Trump. I mean, this is why the legal scholars are saying this is the weakest trial they've ever seen. It's the most incoherent pile of nonsense they've ever seen.
Fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
This is, again, just boosting Trump's stance in the polls. Everyone's coming out. Matt Walsh, congratulations to Donald Trump on winning the 2024 presidential election. Exactly. This is, they just, in their narcissism, in their utter disdain for truth, ensured that Trump's going to win. They admitted in front of the entire world they're totalitarian. They are openly pro-authoritarian. They have no regard for truth. They have no regard for due process, justice, coherence, logic, or morality. They've told the American people who they are, and now the only thing that's left to happen is for the American people to make up their mind. Of course, they're not done. They will try to prevent him. I'm calling now, they'll try to prevent him from running in certain states as a result of this conviction. But the American people won't stand for it because that would be, of course, the true end of democracy, despite the fact that they, in an Orwellian sense, are saying that they're defending democracy as they politically persecute Trump in the, what legal scholars are saying is the greatest travesty trial of all time. What I think Trump should do in regards to sentencing is go back to Florida so that the Florida National Guard can protect him. That's what I think needs to happen. because the left will try to put him in jail if at all possible. And you can't be surprised by things like that. The paradigm has shifted here, people. The left has made their move. They are openly not interested in justice. They are openly totalitarian. They are openly tyrants. We are living with people from the 1940s in Germany. We are living with the Gestapo. We are living around the people that hate truth, hate morality, hate justice. They hate you. They hate all aspects of coherent truth. And they're out in the open. They're not hiding it. The time between now and November will be an open and blatant attack on America. Congressman saying Democrats just declared war. Everyone knows this is a political verdict. This is election interference at the highest level. But people know this. People know this, and this is why the polls have already reacted the way they are. Trump is just going up. Vivek Ramaswamy, everyone's speaking out. The prosecutor's a politician who promised to nail Trump. See, this is what the left didn't want to have happen. Twitter is not censored anymore. And the reaction to this is not overwhelmingly celebration. In fact, the minority of people are celebrating. And the people who are celebrating are clearly the freaks and the deformities. Whereas the people who are calling this out are using reason, they're using morality, they're using logic, they're using coherence, they're using intellectual scrutiny. They're making sense, and they're the majority. They didn't want to allow this to happen. They wanted democracy to die in darkness. But Elon Musk buying X prevented that aspect of things. Greg Abbott. This is a sham show trial. The kangaroo court will never stand on appeal. Americans deserve better than a sitting U.S. president weaponizing our justice system against a political opponent, all to win an election. We must fire Joe Biden in November. Guys, something is coming. I don't know what. I don't know what it will look like, but it will be unprecedented in the history of the United States because the left has just played all their cards and everyone is seeing them for who they are. In a sense, they've just failed. They've just failed, and they didn't expect to fail. They didn't expect the entire reaction to them to be realized that they're essentially worse than Nazis. We're dealing with people who were Nazis in 1940, except they call themselves good people. They call themselves compassionate and inclusive. They say the opposite of the truth. They say they're protecting democracy while trying to eviscerate democracy. Legal scholars, lawyers on the left and the right are saying this was the most flawed case in the history of their entire careers. Of course, it will be overturned. This can go to the Supreme Court, which of course we will win because we have majority of non-ideologically possessed people. Andrew Tate tweeted about this, saying this is the public admission that justice no longer exists in the United States, and he's right. But we can change that in November. We can change that in November. Grant Cardone, outspoken, famous billionaire. I will never do business in New York City. Are you guys seeing what's going on here? Elon Musk has not yet tweeted, but you can be assured that these very powerful people are having conversations. The left is very, very unpopular. He did just win the election. That's why I said that something big is coming. They're planning something big because they realize that their entire mission they've been working for 8 years has just failed. It's just completely collapsed. They've been trying to do this since 2016, but upon achieving their goal, they ensured their own defeat. There's something very biblical about that, I will say, in that the machinations of the devil, which the left is clearly serving in their allegiance to anti-truth. That's a more crystallized term for anti-truth, saying the opposite of the truth, embodying the opposite of morality, is of course evil. And so in the realization of the machinations of evil, the fact that that realizes their own defeat, there's something very special about that. Let's see what Ben Shapiro is saying. He's talking to Michael Knowles, 15,000 people watching.
Well, there were only really two topics on which he was speaking in the past few months. One was the January 6th, 2020 election stuff. And two were the trials. And the trials, it's fine for him to talk about. That is a fine political thing for him to talk about because there you are talking about the serious issue.
So Ben Shapiro, a lawyer from Harvard, is explaining that it's fine for him to talk about the trial, which of course it is because it's a sham trial. But also, I think that it's important to recognize the left has done most of the talking for Trump by admitting their totalitarian impulses and demonstrating that they have disdain and hatred for humanity and America. They did more in this trial than Trump ever could have explained to people.
Of one party mobilizing the instruments of government in order to victimize members of the opposing party. And that is a much better campaign for him to run than anything related to 2020.
Exactly. They made his own campaign for him. This is incredible.
I mean, if they get to a debate and Joe Biden says January 6th was a threat to democracy, Donald Trump should say, and I'm sure he will, you mobilizing every piece of the Justice Department from state to federal in order to
Matrix attack.
Exceptions of them. Like right now, I want to get your take on this, Michael. I'm hearing a lot of people out there on the right, and they're like, well, Republican DA should start immediately indicting Democratic politicians. I don't think that's right because I think the American people don't like what they're seeing. If the American people were fine with what they're
I completely agree with that. We don't have to become tyrants like them. There are people saying, oh, a random court in Idaho should indict Hillary Clinton. No, that's not the way to go forward. The way to go forward is say, these people are unhinged, insane, totalitarian. They are completely over the edge. They are openly just mentally broken, evil humans. And we're going to oppose them on the grounds of the future of civilization. That is a fantastic way to campaign.
they're seeing. I think that that's totally right, because I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But I actually think that this is a political win for Republicans in the sense that they're not the party tearing down democracy right now. It is the Democrats who are indicting their political opponents,
And I agree with you that politically this looks good. The Democrats are stepping on a rake, and Trump can be a martyr and sort of is a martyr now. I think it's totally legitimate. What worries me, though,
that's crazy. That's what causes me worry is what's going to happen, because they literally just martyred him. Trump is a martyr. That's the one thing you never do. That's the one thing the CIA never ever wants to do is make someone a martyr. But they just did it. So what do they have planned? That's what I'm saying.
is how brazen this is, and how increasingly brazen the Democrats have become.
This is Germany 1939 vibes. This is Germany 1940 vibes. Absolutely.
That can have a positive political effect for them as well, because it can demoralize conservatives. So yes, conservatives are going to...
I don't think this is demoralizing at all. I think this is actually energizing.
Rally around Trump, and independents are going to rally around Trump, and everyone's going to be outraged by this. But they did it. They did it, and they're getting crimes that Joe Biden has apparently committed. Just 2 days ago, he visited Hallie Biden, the widow of his son and former mistress of his other son. This was days before the Hunter Biden gun crimes trial. Hallie Biden is going to be an important witness in the gun crimes trial, because allegedly she seems to have helped him to commit those crimes. Any reasonable person looking at that meeting says that's witness tampering. One of the things that you're accusing Donald Trump of doing, you, sitting President Biden, are doing yourself.
Everyone knows it.
And what do? They shrug their shoulders, he licks his ice cream cone, and they don't care. So yes, this will mobilize public...
There is an anti-American regime currently taking place, and it's far worse than even Trump anticipated in his campaigns.
Opinion against Biden. The really demoralizing question is, how much does public opinion still matter in elections?
Yeah, Michael, as you say, when it comes to the glass being broken, you can't unbreak this glass. It is worth noting at this point that if Joe Biden does not win this...
There is a new paradigm here. We're living in a new world. History will look at this day, the 30th of May, 2024.
Next election, he will undoubtedly be prosecuted. Undoubtedly. I mean, we have now, but this is not glass that goes back in place. I mean, the reality is that he is now running to basically keep himself and his son out of jail. So you now have a political system in which people who are running for the presidency have to first consider whether they are going to be unfairly brought up on charges. And then they have to consider that if they lose, there's a good shot they go to jail. I mean, that is where we currently sit. Now, listen, there are other democracies around the world where...
And there is no way around that. It is now an openly apparent power grab for authoritarian control, and this is exactly what the Marxists want, because they insist that the only thing that mediates relationships or dynamics between people or even entities is power. There's no coherence, there's no morality, there's no right or wrong as defined by objective parameters like rationality. There's only the totalitarian displays of power as they're demonstrating here. And it's a Marxist principle. It's baked into the way their ideology operates. And it's fundamentally as a result of them hating truth.
There have actually been sitting politicians who have ended up in jail after losing office, after being elected to high office or whatever it is. But in those particular cases, those cases happen to be incredibly well-founded. What makes...
understood from a philosophical standpoint, the three branches of government are supposed to correspond to the tripartite soul. The legislature is supposed to be the passionate, emotional, appetitive part. The executive is supposed to be the spirited part, the thumotic part of the soul. But the judicial part of the government is supposed to be logical, disinterested, cool, Lady Justice with a blindfold on. And I don't think any person today, even the most partisan Democrat, would be able to look you in the face and tell you sincerely that Lady Justice still has her blindfold on. Not a chance.
I think very quickly we're going to see the markets respond in New York. Elon Musk has yet to tweet about this. I'm sure in the next few hours he will. When red is trending. Apparently the Trump website has just been updated to show this, political prisoner, meaning that they were ready. They were prepared for this. Wow, I'm a political prisoner. This is historic stuff here. Oh, Trump's campaign, his donation platform has crashed due to amount of traffic. You understand what this means, guys? His polls are skyrocketing. The site to donate to his campaign crashed due to traffic overload. Something big is coming. Something really big is coming. Look at this. Bro, they're probably going to raise $100 million in a single day. Like, this is bonkers. Get him back in Florida. Get Trump back in Florida. I mean, everything trending in politics, everything is pro-Trump. Every political aspect of this. Bro, look at this. Teflon Don is trending. Black Americans are coming out in support of this guy massively. So you got to ask yourself, since they've played their cards and left is so giga unpopular and everyone hates them, what do they have planned? Appeal is trending. United States of America is trending. Supreme Court is trending. In politics, sham is trending in politics. You see what's going on here. Out of all of these political trending hashtags, I would say only one of them is pro-leftist. Every other one, there's like 15 of them. They are all pro-Trump and exposing the radical left. The prosecutor's trending. They're destroying the prosecution. Yeah. Okay, guys, so keep your eyes peeled. Prepare yourself. We are living with, again, this is very serious. We are actually living with people from the 1940s in Germany. This is the left. We see who they've always been. The content of their character, the quality of their being is deeply evil to its core. It's reflective of literally Satan. The resentment they hold towards justice, towards logic, towards morality, towards truth can be traced all the way back to Cain and Abel. If you're watching this, be sure to subscribe. I told you that we're going to be covering all of these, ridiculous disintegrations of the left up until November, but I didn't think it would get this bad so quickly. I find myself saying that a lot and have been saying that a lot since 2020, but here we are. So I'll be here. I will be exposing them. Hopefully this channel doesn't remain too censored as the election gets close, but of course, there's no telling. But the way you can help combat that is you like the video and you subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.